Hi all, today we will discuss about how to use the material designer option available in ANSYS. The material designer, which is used to calculate the effective properties of a composite material from its constituents. Normally there are multiple options to do this. For example, we can use ANSYS ACP to do it. There are other like we can use rules of mixture like equations to find out the effective properties, and one such option available in ANSYS is material designer. So if you want to take material designer, just go to the component systems where you can find the material designer. So this is the material designer. So double click on this material designer, or you can drag it from here. You'll be provided with this window, and we need to select the constituent materials first, because any composite material which will be composed of the matrix and fiber or particulate depends upon the type of composite material. In this case, we need to define what is the constituent, what are the mechanical properties of the constituent material. Not only mechanical properties, thermal or any other properties. So I'm going to create two materials. By clicking the engineering data, I can select the constituent material properties. For example, if you go to engineering data sources, and I'm going to select the composite materials. You can select any materials, but for this case I'm going to select the composite materials. There'll be questions like why I'm selecting composite materials already there. It's not like that. This is actually the constituent material for example, if you take the case of carbon fiber, this is only the description which says it's a fiber property only. So if you want to create a composite material, you will be provided the constituent materials here also, the reinforcement material or the matrix material. It is given here, and if you take the case of this material epoxy carbon UD, it's a composite material property, so that you can see the orthotropic elasticity, orthotropic stress limits. These things you can see here. So this case I'm going to select the carbon fiber for an example. Similarly, I'm selecting the epoxy, resin epoxy. So two materials, one is the matrix material, the other is the reinforcement material selected. Just close this one, so you can see carbon fiber and resin epoxy. So epoxy will be my matrix, carbon fiber will be my fiber. So I'm going to close the engineering data, and I'm going to open the material designer. I'm going to rerun the material designer. So double click the material designer, it will open the interface. So this is a material designer interface where we can create a UD composite, random UD, short fiber composite, any composites you can create. So this case I'm going to select the woven composite. Then I must select the material. For the matrix, that will be epoxy, and for fiber, that will be carbon fiber. So this is my matrix material and yarn which means fiber. Once it is okay, I'm going to complete check the press the change options. Then I must update the geometry, so where I can provide the fiber volume fraction, yarn volume fraction, shear angle, fiber thickness, all these things we can give. I'm going to let it like the default values, but if you're dealing with a sandwich like composite, these options will be different. So geometry I'm going to update. So the geometry is created. This is actually woven type, that's why the geometry look like 6. This, and you can also change the spacing, the fabric thickness, these things here. And I'm going to create the mesh. The calculation is actually numerical one, so a mesh is required. The mesh is generated. Then if I go to the settings, what kind of anisotropy you require. For example, you need orthotropic or anisotropic material, that is from the from the constituents. What kind of composite you are going to evaluate, whether it is having an orthotropic property or an isotropic property. Okay, so whatever you require, compute linear elasticity, compute coefficients of thermal expansion, these things you can calculate. But this case I'm just keeping the linear elasticity. If you have thermal expansion coefficient for constituent materials, you can also use these two options, that is thermal expansion coefficient and thermal conductivity for the constituent materials, you can create those properties for the composite material. And the settings are okay, then the temperature and everything is okay, then I'm going to update this one. Next, I'm going for the analysis settings. I need to select whether it is a constant material or variable material. For this case, I'm going to select the constant material evaluation, and I'm going to give the material name as CFRP, carbon fiber composite. Okay, then update. So it will use the equations like Moritanaka or Halpinsi. These equations can be used to evaluate the effective property. Yeah, it's completed. And if you go to the results, you can see the calculated results, because hence we gave we just gave the information as an orthotropic material. So 9 constants were calculated, 3 Young's modulus, 3 Poisson's three shear modulus, 3 Poisson's ratios calculated. And there is no change in the Poisson's ratios, because the the due to the constituent materials, it is assumed as an isotropic one. That's why, or in the orthotropic also, there is no change in the material properties for the Poisson's ratio. That's why the Poisson's ratio came as the same for every direction. Okay, so it's calculated. Just I'm going to exit. Then I can exit this material designer. Then I can update it. Then I need to use this material for any analysis, some structural analysis. You can drag a structural analysis after the updation, and then you can connect the material designer to the engineering data, so the composite material will be listed as an orthotropic material. The values will be the calculated values from this material designer software. So I'll show you that also. If you go to static structural, you can drag it, and you can drag this to engineering data. Then if you I'm going to create a geometry, because without a geometry I cannot do anything. So simply create some geometry. I'll create a geometry. After that, we will go to the model, where we can see the material assigned to the geometry, and simply create a rectangular box. Okay. Then if I open the engineering data, you can see the material CFRP is listed here, and you can see the orthotropic elasticity, all those things. If you the if you uncheck the filter engineering data, you can see the other properties also. Okay, so then if you go to model, you can assign the material to the geometry, or to the CAD model. So if you click on the solid geometry, you can change the material to, or in my case there is some JavaScript error, that's why. If you go to CFRP, create material assignment, you can select this body and you can apply. So you can see the assigned one is CFRP, and if you click on the CFRP, you can see the material properties. There are actually some issues with my display due to some JavaScript some error, so that's why it's not listing. But in your software, the properties will be listed as the orthotropic properties, like 3 Young's modulus, 3 Poisson's ratio, and 3 shear modulus will be listed here. Okay, thank you, and don't forget to subscribe subscribe my channel, because I'm going to release a lot of videos related to ANSYS and SCP composite materials. So if you are interested in this topic, just subscribe my channel and also press the bell button. Thank you.